literally has all the Spider people in it. I mean, you have like the OG Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, you even have Spider-Ham. Oh, and they also have Spider-Man from the MCU. Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to another new release review. And today I will be covering Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So this movie is directed by Bob Persichetti, Rodney Rothman, and Peter Ramsey, and stars Shameik Moore, Jake Johnson, and Hailee Steinfeld. And the story primarily follows Miles Morales, who has now just recently become the Spider-Man of his own reality. When a crazy tear is formed in the space-time continuum, he crosses paths with the different spiders from different dimensions, and they almost come together to defeat one giant threat. So to kick off the positives is the characters in this movie. Everybody in this movie does a great job. The voice acting is another thing, I'll include that in this too. The voice acting is phenomenal, but the characters are so good, they're so relatable, they're so human, even when they're not human, like Spider-Ham. They make you laugh, they make you cry, they are all great, and they are all very unique. They are so nice, you get a backstory for every one of them. Usually they're pretty quick and cut and clean and everything, but they are all very, very intriguing characters. Next is the animation in this movie, and it might not hit home with everybody. The film is played out to look like a comic book, and there's a lot of comic book things in it. I, for one, loved it. I thought it was awesome. There are a few instances that I'll get to later, but for the most part, I thought the animation was really cool. It was a new, unique style that I'd never really seen before, and I found it to be super interesting and really cool to watch. Next is the action, because yes, even though it's an animated flick, the action in this movie is badass. It is very, very Spider-Man-like. It's super intense and extremely fun to watch, and you will have a blast with all the action sequences in this movie. And next is the soundtrack, because damn, this soundtrack is so good. I had heard a couple of songs, like Sunflower by Post Malone and Sway Lee. I thought that was already great, but this whole soundtrack, top to bottom, is phenomenal. And next to the fact that this movie gives you all the feels. Like, this movie really does. It hits every single point. You will feel angry, you will want to cry, you will want to laugh, you will want to laugh, cry. This movie gets you in every single aspect of your emotions. And next to the fact that the story in this movie is great, and I think above all, it's easy to understand, because some movies that get these big convoluted plots with, like, you know, interdimensional travel and blah blah blah, they can get really confusing, but luckily this movie is not. Your kids can watch it, they can understand it. I watched it, I found it just fine. It does it so it's smart enough that it feels real, you know, in a cartoon Spider-Man world, but it's also simple enough that everybody can understand it and everyone can get on board. And I think almost most importantly, it has some very, very strong, great messages in this movie, but there is a lot more in here. Like, guys, this movie, it's not just like a fun animated kids flick like it can be for the kids, but you can go and watch this and you're really gonna find a lot in here to love and a lot in here to explore. And second last on the positives is going to be the unique twist that you get on a lot of the villains. They're really, really cool twists. And lastly is something that we all should have expected. As you already know, the great Stan Lee passed away not too long ago now, and there are some really, really heartwarming tributes in this. There's of course a Stan Lee cameo in this, and that I thought was fantastic, of course, but there's a little tribute at the end, and it warmed my heart. As well as the end credit scene, make sure you stay till the very end of the credits, like after all the credits roll. I am not joking by saying it may possibly be my favorite end credit scene of all time in any movie ever. I laughed so hard, I loved it, it sets up so much more than you think. And now on to the negatives, guys. The negatives, there's only one negative for this movie, and that's just the fact that with the animation sometimes, although I know, like I said, I already addressed that it's not for everyone. Even for me, who's someone who really enjoyed this animation, there are still moments where it just gets too flashy. There's too much going on the screen at once. There's too many kind of cuts to make it look like a comic book. There's too many colors, and there's just too much going on at once that you really can't even make out what's going on. So you're just kind of sitting there going, oh, okay, so okay, like blinking and rubbing your eyes, and you really can't make out what's going on. Luckily, that doesn't happen a whole heck of a lot, but the few times that it does, you're gonna be like, okay, I gotta like close my eyes right now. I can't even focus. So guys, those are my thoughts on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm going to be giving Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse a 9 out of 10. So if you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know, what did you think of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? And be sure to check me out on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links will be in the description and at the end of the video. And be sure to check out my Instagram page every Friday for the Fan Vote Friday. Round 2 of the Christmas Challenge just happened, so make sure you check back this next upcoming Friday for Round 3, where you will be deciding the finalists. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Sunflower. I'm gonna wreck it! Oh, no.